MTG Scoundrels. It's in the cardboard. Ladies and gentlemen, scoundrels of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Modern Mondays. Today on the docket, we have ourselves some Mardu Energy versus Affinity, and of course my low voice. Some players still trying to iterate on the energy archetype, besides just adding blink cards. You're starting to see some Chthonian Nightmares being splashed and such. And of course, Affinity is Affinity. Try to get Kappa out early off of Pinnacle Emissary or Weapons Manufacturing. Looks like Affinity's going to be on 6 here. Starting off with a Cracked Flooded Strand into an Ocelot Pride. And passing the turn. Bring us to 17 to 20 with that Sacred Foundry there. Don't know what zero play we're waiting on. Guess just waiting on the shuffle. Affinity can definitely go faster than any of these energy decks when it wants to. But one thing we've learned about Affinity over this past year is that it has terrible mulligans. Taking 3 off of the backside of Sink into Stupor here. There's a Claws of Gix. Here's a Torpor Orb. Or excuse me, a Tormod's Crypt. And an Emery. Milling some cards. 4 of them to be exact. There are a couple artifacts there. The early Tormod's Crypt is really good into Flage. Snow-covered plains here. Into Goblin Bombardment. Best to get it out before it can be rebuked. Untapping, drawing for turn. There's a Fiery Islet. Taking 1. Here's a Weapons Manufacturing. Emery's then going to target the Tormod's Crypt. We'll see a Munitions token get made. No Mox Opal. Passing the turn. There's a Marsh Flats. Here's an Ajani. Goblin Bombardment, sacking the cat to ping the Emery. That'll flip the Ajani. Going to 0 the Ajani. Killing off the Emery. Probably was better to go ahead and ping the opponent first here, but got rid of the Emery. Attacking him for 1, bringing us to 18 to 15. Thanks to the lifelink. Move to the end step, get a cat. Only 8 permanents, so no extra couple tokens here. Passing from there. Urza Saga. Warping a Pinnacle Emissary. Creating a Munitions token. Looks like the Affinity player mulling over whether to start activating that Claws of Gix. Oh, but we're going to see an engineered explosives on 1 here? Maybe not. Looking like it'll just be engineered explosives on 0. That'll make a drone. Moving to the end step. The emissary getting warped out. Going even on mana. Shooting the Ajani. Or even on life, excuse me. And then doing it again, gaining 1 life. Because that Fiery Islet does deal damage and only 1 life gained off the Closet Gix. Marsh Flats getting cracked on the end step. Finding a shadowy backstreet. Backstreet may, in fact, be back. So we'll have a surveilling coming here on the end step. This isn't always a game of permanence, but these 2 decks are ones to have permanence in play. Flage getting surveilled into the bin. That's not bad. But only 3 other cards in the graveyard and 3 mana? Well, there's the Arid Mesa. But I don't think you're getting there. Now, I do see a second Ajani in hand, so that is pretty huge, and an Ocelot Pride. And that drone cannot block. Or at least not block creatures without flying. So getting started playing an Ocelot Pride. 2 more mana. Here's the Ajani we saw in hand. Making another token. Attacking in for 4. That'll bring it to 12. And gaining a life going to 18. So essentially you can flip the Ajani. I start by picking the opponent for 1, bringing us to 18 to 11. That'll flip Ajani. You can activate Ajani, shoot the opponent for 5, putting him to 6. And you're going to have the City's Blessing here, so you're going to have plenty of tokens to work with. And creatures. On the end step that you can just make all your guys and then sack them all to the Goblin Bombardment for the win? I believe that's what the Affinity player is reading right now. No mana here to activate the explosives or the Claws of Gix. So getting 2 Cat Warriors and 6 1/1 cats is more than enough to finish the job. And that'll do it. Game 1. Going to the archenemy of the format, which is really any of these energy lists. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. Definitely check out our last video, which was Selesnya Broodscale. A new take on the Broodscale archetype, playing Leonardo against Goryo's Vengeance, a deck we haven't had on the channel too much, but it's great to have. Thank you for the players for playing. And definitely check out our modern primer that we put out of what deck you should be playing in 2026. Fantastic video, doing super well. Appreciate all of you for watching. And of course, here in the next couple weeks, we're going to be putting up a primer on where the format is now, 4 weeks after that video, as RCQ season has kicked off. And we've started to see some major shifts in the format. So definitely check that out. Moving on to sideboards, we'll definitely see Mardu Energy bring in some wear tears here. Wouldn't be surprised if they're playing Wrath of the Skies, because that's pretty common now. A great way to clear the board if they haven't gotten Cap out just yet. Though in this case you could possibly see a Thoughtseize or 2 come in as well. Not a bad option here. Now when it comes to Affinity, you're going to see the Whip Flares come in for sure. And maybe also a Grafdigger's Cage will come in here as well. But you don't want to mess with your main board too much. You already played Tormod's Crypt. So you'll probably only just be removing a couple items that might be worse in the energy matchup. Now granted, if you're the Affinity player, as we mentioned earlier, generally you're just wanting to, as best you can, get hands that you're not having to mulligan out of. And hopefully they're fast as well. Because you can be faster than the energy deck. And you kind of have to rely on that a little bit. Though when you're expecting Wrath of the Skies, keeping hands with weapons manufacturing is better, simply because you'll be creating a bunch of those tokens and it makes them wrathing the board be a bit more of a difficult proposition. Granted, Mardu Energy and energy lists in general like to, in games 2 and 3, really focus on staggering their threats as best they can and not overwhelming the board too much while still trying to win the game. That being said, sometimes they do just have to jam everything, and that leaves windows of opportunities open for you. Moving on to our ads, definitely check out our friends over at Grove Warden Games, hosts of our channel, a wonderful place to storm out. Link to their website is in the description below, and they're moving forward pretty soon with having card ordering off their site. So definitely check them out. And of course, check out artist of our channel, Sean Gerard. They make wonderful art, are open to new projects, whether that's on a personal level or for a professional setting. Instagram is up on the screen, and their email is in the description below. We wouldn't be where we are without them. And finally, check out our socials. We are at MTG Scoundrels over on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Facebook. Most active over on Blue Sky. And most active over all of those places in the comments below. So definitely let us know what you're playing in the format, how you're enjoying this RCQ season so far, and we love talking to you guys about Modern. And with that, we are moving on to game number 2. Looks like both players looking at their 7s here. See a Goblin Bombardment in hand for the Mardu player. And looks like the Affinity player is keeping here. Getting started with a Fiery Islet. Taking 1, going to 19. Casting a Pinnacle Emissary. Here's a Mishra's Bauble. That'll make a drone. Claws of Gix. That'll make another drone. And passing from there, Pinnacle Emissary going to warp out. Not a bad little start, but no Kappa in the hand. Flooded Strand getting cracked. And here's a Ragavan Nimble Pilferer, which kind of puts it on the Affinity player to find a creature that can block. Getting in for 2. I'll bring us to 15 to 19. Untapping and drawing. Attacking in with Ragavan. Ooh, exiling the Kappa off the top. Not a bad situation there for the Mardu player. They'll get a treasure. Now this gives the Mardu player an opportunity to double spell. There is a Snow-Covered Plains. Here's a Guide of Souls. That's going to get rebuked here. But here is a follow-up Orcish Bowmasters. That's going to deal with one of the drones. And that'll make an Orc army and have the Bowmaster come in. Also takes, if there's a Kappa in hand now, that does take the Affinity player off of it. Alright, here's another Warped In Pinnacle Emissary. Here's a Mox Opal. Of course, going to 15 off that Fiery Islet. Here's another drone. Oh, no way. Found the Kappa? Yes, indeed. There is the Kappa Cannoneer. Pinnacle Emissary warping out. Pass him from there. Now this puts the energy player on the back heels a little bit. And it blocks the Ragavan. But here is a Godless Shrine entering in untapped, bringing us to 13 to 15. Here's Goblin Bombardment. And an Ocelot Pride. Passing from there. So the Mardu player facing down a Kappa. 2 cards in hand for the Affinity player. So now it is a question of what is the Affinity player going to do? If there is a follow-up, no. Taking 1 off the islet. Oh, no way. The 3rd Kappa? 2nd in play? All right. First Kappa getting in. Passing the turn. Mardu player has to win it from here. Ooh, there's a 2nd Bombardment in hand. That won't do it. Yeah, both players confirming what the score is. But from our vantage point, it looks like 7-14. Oh, wait, is there an Ajani? There's an Ajani in hand. Two mana. There is Ajani Nakatl Pariah. That'll make a 2-1. The cat is going to get sacrificed to the bombardment. Ping the Affinity player. Bring it to 7-13. Johnny's going to flip. Going to activate the Ajani. Deal 5 damage. Bring us to 7-8. Currently 10 permanents on the battlefield exactly. Only one blocker. If I'm doing the math right, this should be lethal. You attack in with the non-summoning sick creatures. The Kappa has to block something. So at minimum, you're doing 3 damage. No, at minimum, you're doing 4, because you're going to sack whatever one the Kappa is blocking. And then sack the rest of the board? Man, these energy lines are truly broken. Attacking in with 4 creatures. Looks like the Kappa is going to block the monkey. Okay. Mardu player is seeing the line. Ping the opponent before damage. Then the damage goes through. Four creatures on the board. The opponent's at 4. Move to the end step. Get a cat. I think that's the wrong number of cat warriors, but you get a couple of cats here after gaining life. And that'll do it. Game, set, match. Going to Mardu Energy. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. And we will see you all next week.